Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. My name's Matt Drake. This is episode 184, and I'm joined this evening by my co-host, Morgan Hartfeld. Good evening, Morgan. How are you?
Evening, Mr. Matthew. I am very well. Very busy, but very well. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. I'm doing even better because it's tournament weekend, or at least it is for me. And so I'm playing in the first tournament that I've played in ages. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm far more excited than anyone else in the old farts chat, and they've probably been getting rather annoyed the level of enthusiasm that I have, despite the fact that it looks like it's going to rain the whole weekend, or at least for a big portion of it.
I was kind of just wondering that. It's been pretty meh down here, and I'm assuming it's coming your direction. But you know what?
Yeah,
it's nearly summer, team. It's nearly summer.
I don't know. I think it looks like tomorrow. So we're driving up tomorrow morning, early tomorrow, and it's a family thing. We're going up with the kids, and they're coming for a weekend in Topor, and so we're going up tomorrow morning. It looks like it's going to be dry for Friday for the practice day, and then it looks like it's going to slowly get worse and worse as the weekend rolls on.
Well, you'll be all right. All you need, a nice jacket, an umbrella, and a pair of drip socks, and you'll be away for the weekend.
That's right. I've got my drip socks. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Get onto those drip socks if you don't have any. But so I'm doing really well because of that. So yeah. How's your week been?
Yeah, really good, man. Yeah, really good. Got through Flight Park last weekend, which went down an absolute treat. Had an amazing weekend. And to be honest, I don't know where the first 4 days of the working week have gone. It's been pretty hectic. My boss is away for like the next 3 weeks, so I've ended up with at least half of his workload. So nice and busy, which is good. That's what pays the bills, so we won't complain.
Indeed. Well, look, we've got a cracking show for everybody today. First up, we're going to be going through hot scores, and then we're going to be going through the scores from Flight Park Open from last weekend. Then we've got our guest. Our guest tonight is Ben Wiel-Lake. It's been a hot minute since he was on the show, and so it'll be good to catch up with him. Obviously, taking out the win in Flight Park, and then we're going to be looking ahead to Topor, and an interesting discussion on the number of discs, which I want to talk to you about, Morgan.
Yep.
And then we're going to be doing Discgolf Valley, Discdle, looking ahead to our upcoming tournaments, power rankings, and that should more or less round us out for Thursday night. Just been told that my hair looks like I've just got out of bed.
Hey, that's always a good look. Hey, I love the out of bed hair look.
I'd love to say that I styled it this way. I'd be lying. But anyway, let's go through hot scores. Morgan, take us through the South.
Jono Brown to start off the week gets the job done down at Queen's Park with an 11 under par. Love reading out my bro's name right there. Big Jono Brown, 11 down at Queen's Park to kick things off. Over to Chingford, and we've got Kelvin Cummings. Back-to-back weeks, I believe. 6 under par at Chingford. And again, Mr. Kelvin Cummings at Brockville gets a 5 under par. I have a feeling, I think I remember from last week, he went 6 down at those two courses. So well done, Kelvin. Fantastic effort there, my friend. The Stiffmeister, Stefano, 13 down at the Queenstown Gardens. Over to Lismore and Mundo McDisc, the one and only, 11 under par. 7 under par gets it done for Ashton Clark over at Jelly Park. Warren Park, and we're up in the Christchurch region now, people. Warren Park, Craig Gold, 7 under par. Excuse me, moving on to Smallbone Reserve, and we've got 2 people, Billy Roberts of Mount Hutt and KBG, both shooting a hot 14 down this week. 7 under par gets the job done at Queen's Park Reserve. Headed on up to Saxon Field, and we've got Mr. formerly of Queenstown, Reese Wynn Jones, with a 7 under par. And to round out the top of the South, Branford Park, Reed, not Steve Reed, just Reed, 14 under par this week. Hot shoot in their team. Good to see some return names week after week.
Absolutely. And up to the North Island, starting in the capital in Berhampore, Jung Ha hits a 7 down in the hills at Berhampore. Incredible score by the general there. He's playing in Topor this weekend. At Hikoikoi, Bunny hits 6 down Koi Koi, that's pretty mean. You've got to take the gimmies and then get a few of the others. Hardcore Park, Amy Whitmore hits a 2 under par at Hardcore Park for the hot score of the week. Joel Simpson hits 9 down at Linklater. Then it's a 4-way tie at Maryland's. Louis Hickson, Jason Gray, Finn Rumors, and Brian Rawlins all struggling to take out the win this week, tied as they are on 3 down. Spa Park Black, which is the course that's going to be played this weekend at the Throwdown for MA1 and some of the other divisions at least, is Dean. They both hit +1. Over at Henderson, it's Owen Mandisodza who hits 6 under par. And up at Wood Hill, Jack O'Sullivan, it seems like every week at Wood Hill he hits the hot score, 10 under par.
Oh, I mean, he's the beast of the North, of course. We expect nothing less than to hear Jacko's name at least once a week on the show.
But this week, Nicholas Goldner hits 12 under at Rosedale for the hot score there. Well done to everybody who hit a hot score this week. Plenty of hot scores.
Congratulations.
Plenty of hot scores in the Flight Park Open, which took place down your neck of the woods, Morgan, in the last weekend. You were the assistant tournament director, helping out Andy down there. So, what? How did the tournament go? What was the feeling about the place?
Mate, the feeling at the place for me was, by the time tournament time came around, I was pretty stoked because good planning and preparation leads to a really easy and smooth run tournament. I actually felt more prepared for this one than I do when I work with Adam, because when Adam and I work together, it just happens. But having Andy there as a first-time TD and actually sort of teaching him and coaching him through every single step, God, we were ready for it. So, went down an absolute treat. The players from left to right, top to bottom, were stoked. The entire event, so much good feedback. And, some hot scores out there. As you'll see, if Mr. Tom has got that up on the screen.
Let's go through some of the results. Before we have a look at the top of the MPO division, I see that you yourself were in a battle with Adam coming down the stretch.
Yeah, well, it was tee times on the Sunday. It was super tight. So there was 3 of us. So Ben was, I think, 18 down going into the final round. I think it was 18. Ben can confirm that when he comes on. And then there was 3 of us tied in second place. And then there was 4 people tied in 5th or 6th place, whatever it was. And then 1 shot behind that was Jin Kato. So super tight going into the last round. It was a huge battle. I went 6 through 7, 8 down through 10. And it wasn't until hole 15 where I caught an unlucky bogey. And then some interesting stuff happened on hole 17. Hole 17 is the basket where it's up on a bit of a shard of rocks. Ben was first to act after the drives, and he rolled away two, maybe 3 times. And in my mind, I'm looking at my phone going, shit, I don't think I can catch Ben here, but if I could get Mikey, if I could get the birdie, and I was in position to putt for birdie, I was like, wow, I could catch Mikey and be sitting in tied second. And then Ben was having a bit of a hard time on 17. And I thought, you never know what could happen on 18. Actually, I missed the putt, rolled away. That took me out of the equation, put me back in a 3rd or 4th. Ben held on by quite a number of strokes there in the end, but it was a battle. It was a hell of a battle, man. That last round, especially, everyone was firing, so it was cool. It's a great card to be a part of.
And just looking down the MPO card there were battles all the way down the division for everything. There was summit on the cards, going into the last few holes with it. Ben Wiel-Lake takes out the win and overall win in MPO with a 25 under par and achieving 1,007, 982 and a 975 rated rounds. Mikey Yu is in second place, 3rd overall, with a 1020 rated final round. And then Adam Rhymes rounds out podium in MPO.
That was from Chase Card as well. So
that
was an interesting one. Again, just going back to that chat I was just having before, I didn't look at the scores until T-pad of hole 16. So that sort of all unraveled in the last few holes. I was like, shit, here we go.
In FPO, Victoria Speller beats Echo Lee relatively comfortably, and yeah, probably scores that we wouldn't expect from Echo, honestly.
Yeah, not taking anything away from Victoria because she played fantastically. Echo came in with an injury. Unfortunately, I was talking to her the night before, and she was pulled over on the side of the road, tossing up whether or not she should play or not. But she came down, she maintained, she got through the event. So big ups to her.
Well, I hope that that's not aggravated the injury in the recovery process.
Yeah.
MP40, Chris Dixon takes out the win by 8 strokes over Roddy McKay and Peter McKay. And Stephen Tate, tied in 3rd place as well. Pretty tight in this division.
Tight until the last round. I think you'll find a couple of those guys, they'll say they threw it away in that last round.
Chris able to just pull away in that final round.
Yeah.
MA1, Kyle Barringer wins by 4 shots. This is one you called, Morgan, last week on the show. You called Kyle for the win.
Yeah, well, of course I'm obviously gonna go for my teammate in Kyle. Ben has been an absolute monster this whole season in MA1. He's been taking down so many wins.
Yeah.
I was on a hole right next to their finishing hole. And I watched, without knowing the scores, I watched them both putt from hazard from about 15, 16 meters and both drain the putt with the crowd going wild. And I didn't know what was going on. I had to wait all the way around till 16 to find out who won.
Well, Kyle Barringer's 14 down would have been competitive in MPO as well. It's a good score. Good score. 962 was his highest rated round. FA1, Jesse Reynolds takes out the win here, doing the work in round 2 with an 825 rating. Second round. MA40, the best division. Jeremy Hills runs away with this one by 9 shots over Arne Burgess and Iran Blumenthal in 3rd.
How good is it to see Iran's name up there, right?
Yeah, but also great to see Arne's name. Friend of the show, Arne Burgess. Often a co-host with 3 pretty consistent, solid rounds there from Arne.
Stoked to see him up there. I only bring up Iran because he hasn't really played too much competitive disc golf for the last few years. So he seems to be sort of jumping back into the competitive scene a little bit at the moment. So I'm stoked for him. Yep. I am absolutely stoked for Arne, and Jeremy killed it the whole weekend.
Absolutely, and Iran, my fellow NZDSS Masters teammate.
There you go.
Back in business. MA50, Mark Tebbett hits 9 under par, which is enough to beat Mike Simpson by 5 shots. Again, strong first round, hangs on, does enough in the final 2. In MA2, it's Amos Brayfogle, fantastic name.
Right.
Wins with 16 down. Alison Tweedy, playing in MA2, playing in the mixed division, shoots a 12 under par. 2 very good final rounds. Acquits herself well in this division. We mentioned last.
I don't know what the questions are off the top of my head, but I feel like she's answered them.
Yeah, I mean,
is that fair?
It's good that she is playing in this division.
Totally.
Given that, if she was to have played in FA1 division, she would have won by 30 odd shots. Difficult to say what would have happened in FPO, but if she's not looking to play professionally, then that's not a thing. So
yeah, they were off BTs, so comparisons are a little bit, but yeah, I mean, she shot a 55, 7 shots ahead of Maddie Allsop on that last round, which I think bumped her up from 4th or 5th. Up into 2nd, so that was a great finish for her. Awesome,
it's a good result, and as you can see, as we'll see later on, it does have an impact on the power ranking. So we'll see how that changes. And then in MJ18, Connor Rance takes out the win over Levi Simpson. Some good rated rounds here from Connor, especially the round 2's 83. So that's.
I mean, he got Levi by 3 strokes in the very last round. So there was only 1 shot between them going into that last round. So I've seen Levi out on the course, but I've seen Connor a hell of a lot more. And I think that maybe all it comes down to is just time on the competitive course.
Yeah. Well, look, that was a really good tournament. Bowl accounts getting lots of praise in the chat Morgan.
Well,
And
haven't looked at the chat. Hey, chat, what's up?
But the winner of this week's tournament was Ben Wiel-Lake, who we've not had on the show for some time. Chat, we were discussing this before. See if you can guess what episode did Ben last appear on the show. Answers in the comments. We'll let you know shortly.
What's up, Ben?
Let's bring in our guest. Good evening, Ben. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good, bro.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you. As we say, it's been a hot minute. Let's not give it away quite yet. We'll wait for guests to come in. But it's been some time since you joined us on the show. So what have you been up to?
Oh man, heaps. Well, definitely heaps since I was last on the show. But yeah, this last year I've been in Japan for the majority of it. About this time last year, sort of November, me and my partner went to Hokkaido for a working holiday, working in a wee ski town out there, and then came back here for a couple of months in between the seasons, and then I went back for the summer out there to escape the cold. And I just got back from having their summer maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, fantastic.
Straight back into it, eh, Benny?
Yeah, that's it.
Hell
Straight
yeah,
back to it.
And hitting the ground running. Did you play any disc golf when you were over there? Must have done.
Yeah. Through winter, I didn't really get to practice because the whole island we lived on was snow from the mountains all the way down to sea level. But right before we left, I managed to play the Japan national doubles tournament with a guy that lived pretty close to us. And then went down. That was further south, just out of Tokyo. We played in sort of the mixed, open men's category. But we're definitely a lower pack, but up against some pretty heavy competition. And then when I went back for summer, played in the Hokkaido Open, which is sort of the only tournament on sort of the island I was living on. But some pretty good players, probably 5,000 or 6,000 rated guys there. But I still managed to walk away with 5th place, I think.
Nice.
Second last cash, so I was pretty stoked with that. Yeah. Especially not playing a ton.
For sure.
Were they sanctioned events?
Yep, they were. Not that you'd be able to tell from looking at my PDGA profile. But yeah, I think the national doubles, I guess, is a bit of a weird one because it's not a singles event. But I think Hokkaido Open was probably just a C tier, but it was like a sort of an NT or like a tour event for the Japanese tour. Still a lot of players came up for that. Ko Simmel, who played at Garden City. An American guy from down in Okinawa who's well over 1,000 rated, and a few of the other top sort of Japanese guys were up there for that one.
Heck yeah. What's your thoughts? Like, obviously, I've been out to Japan Open. That was insane. What was the culture like around just a normal C tier? How did they treat the event out there? I'm very interested in that.
I guess it's pretty, relatively similar to New Zealand.
Okay.
I guess obviously Japan has such a big population, but disc golf for them is super, super fresh. I guess it's been around for a while, but it hasn't really grown much, I don't think, throughout the years. Kind of like how New Zealand saw that big boom through COVID. I don't think Japan really got that big boost. And I guess that's got a lot to do with the population and people in parks and stuff like that. There's not really a lot of spots to be able to play disc golf, safely for a start. But in terms of the tournament, obviously, it was super professionally run. The Japanese people are obviously super sort of respectful and very, very professional. Even going through the amateur divisions, everyone takes it super serious, which is quite cool to see. regardless of whether they've just started out or they've been playing on the Japanese tour for years.
Yep. What I find quite interesting is you sort of brought it up there, is like they haven't gone through the boom that we have out here, and yet you mentioned 4,000 or 5,000 rated plus players, and I know there's a few. I think pretty confident there's a few more than that. And I remember back to looking around the country at how many courses there are, and it's not many. So it's super impressive for that number of people to have actually got to that rating in the first place, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, the whole island I lived on was probably almost pretty close to the size of the South Island and only had one course. And that kind of goes for the rest of the country too. There's probably less than 50 courses throughout the whole country.
Yeah.
So less than New Zealand. And I mean, the population is, there's however many million just in Tokyo alone that would blow New Zealand out of the water.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a tricky one, eh? Like, I guess as well in terms of the ratings, like you said, I feel like it's a little bit inflated over there as well. Obviously, a lot of people have heard of Manabu. Is maybe through 2015 to 2020, he was one of the highest rated players in the world. He would make a bit of a US swing generally for Worlds and a few events around that. But obviously he's a great player, and he's come to New Zealand and he's done well, all around the world. But if I'm being honest, maybe his rating would probably be, 10, 20 points lower if he was playing stateside. So yeah, it's tricky. Like I played with him in Japan a few months ago, and he's still got it for sure, and would probably it'd smoke us every single round we'd play with him. But yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. Like, I think I'm probably right now around a 960, maybe pushing 970. And I was kind of hanging with those 1,000 rated guys in Japan. So yeah,
excuse me.
I do wonder if a few of them played overseas a bit more, it might sort of drop their rating a bit. But at the same time, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, for sure. Excuse me.
So when you're back now, are you going back to Japan? Have you got plans to go back to Japan?
Sorry.
No, not for the foreseeable future. Pretty happy to be home, at least for summer. Come into summer, we'll see what's happening. Lucky enough, the place I was working in Japan has said that if I ever wanted to go back, I should be able to get a job going with them. And I definitely miss it already, but it is nice to be home, at least for a while, and just see what happens come next year, whether we end up going back or not.
Yep. You were saying to me, because you've worked out there for X amount of time now. Tell me about it. You don't need a sponsorship, or they can sponsor you now. How did that work?
Yeah, basically they can sponsor me. I guess similar to people immigrating to New Zealand.
Yeah.
You get your year working holiday, and once you've had that, you can apply for a work visa. But obviously, it's much easier if you have an employer that's more willing to sponsor you and stay on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool to know that that's sort of there in the back pocket. All right, it's man, and in such a sick part of the world too, if not the best part of the world, in my opinion. Your next little stint overseas, you're coming to Thailand.
Yeah, it's the one.
Yeah, mate. You and the missus coming out there. I'm pretty excited to see you guys out there with us.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, and hope that Eve, my partner, gets some practice in before we head out there, because she's all signed up. Not sure if she's ready to go, but pretty awesome opportunity having a big crew of Kiwis to take that all on, and I think just having a big crew will make it a pretty awesome holiday and disc golf we tour. So
totally. I think it'll be like a mixture of it'll be pretty cool, but it might be a wee bit hectic at times with that amount of people, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, totally.
We'll figure it out, man.
Yeah, roll with it.
Oh, Matt.
So you've got the Thailand tournament coming up. Are you playing any of the New Zealand events over the summer?
Yeah, I'm just starting a new job in 2 weeks, so it's not the greatest time to be signing myself up for tourneys before I get approval, obviously. But I'll probably flick a few emails and see if I can at least do Wahitapu, which is about a month away exactly, and potentially Twizel, and then that would probably see me through this year. Probably Owaka as well, that Adam's putting on if that goes ahead.
So nearly everything between now and Thailand you're trying to play.
Well, yeah, I'd love to play 2 or 3 more, at least those ones close to home, to finish out this year. And then January is a tricky one with saving to go to Thailand. There's obviously that whole, is it Tour Down Under is in January now?
Yep.
Yeah, January 10th, first event.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'd obviously love to make that happen. I don't think it's looking promising right now, but looking at what they had going last year looked pretty awesome. I was gutted to obviously miss out on that, but it's not probably looking like it's going to line up this year either. But yeah, play it by ear and see how we go, I suppose.
Yeah, man, totally.
Just quickly. Oh, sorry, Morgan.
No, you're right. I just wanted to quickly touch on it because Ben brought it up. Owaka guys, sorry to interrupt your interview, Ben, but Owaka guys, if they don't have X amount of sign-ups by Friday, the event is likely to have the pin pulled. So support them and jump in just like Ben's going to.
Yeah, maybe we can put the registration link into the chat. I know that.
Yes, please, Tom.
There's 18 people signed up at the moment, so plenty of room. And it's going to be a good tournament. It's an Elite Series, or is it not Elite Series, but by the makers of Elite Series, right?
It's Elite Silver Series.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Sweet.
And you'll get to put your skills up against the likes of Mr. Wiel-Lake here.
Yeah, and a beautiful part of the country too.
100%.
Absolutely. The Nationals is on the weekend. You guys get back, I understand, Morgan. Is that right? So
yeah, well, I fly back into Christchurch on the Wednesday, and I believe it kicks off on the Thursday. So yeah, might as well stay up there.
Yeah. Excellent. Now we asked chat when was the last time Ben was on the show. So the answer for anybody who is with us is episode 26. Episode 26. That is ridiculous. That was 3 years ago.
Can I ask, what had you won on the week before that?
I don't.
Ben might know.
What year was it?
So that would have been 2021. In about June, July time. Classic.
Tucker Beach Rush.
Tucker Beach, probably. Eh?
I don't think I won it though.
Oh,
I thought the last event I won was Morgan put on the one day at Coronet Peak, but that was in like January or February 21. But
not Moonbase. It's not Moonbase. Sorry, Lords and Ladies.
Don't know.
Just trying to think what's around that time.
Unless I was like runner up and you got me on the show, but I can't remember now.
It's a good one for any historians in the chat who can remember. What tournament did Ben win? Because he hasn't updated his PDGA.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do that right now, and you can't see it.
He's trolling us with his membership.
Oh, that's funny.
And I'm trying to see if it's.
Oh God, leave me alone. Work messages, go away.
Anyway, it was a tournament way back when. Discmania 1 in 10, of course. That was. Do you remember those days?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Was that 2021? It wasn't that long ago, was it? I can't remember now.
I'm losing track of time, honestly. It's been that long. We've been doing these for three and a half years. So anyway, as we said, it's been a long time. We did Desert Island Disc Golf. We're not going to do it again. If you do want to see Ben's Desert Island Disc Golf, then go back and tune into episode 26. You'll have to excuse the show looks a little bit different back then. Yeah. So but yeah. So you played in the tournament of the weekend, Ben. Why do you think you were able to hold on to the lead going into that kind of final round? What was it that about the course or the your confidence or a particular throw type that you really kind of lent on? What was it that so you kind of hang on to some degree in that
way? Yeah, I mean, I guess I have sort of been playing a fair bit the last few weeks. Working on my putt, got a new putt going at the moment.
How's that? Is it what's technique or disc?
More technique. I'd kind of been going to a bit of a push, but historically I'd always been a spin putter. But obviously, spin putting's a little bit. I don't know. It can be a bit all over the show if you aren't getting the reps in and being able to play a lot. So I'd kind of gone to the push putt just to keep it easy and something that I could rely on when I'm not playing. Yeah, got the spin putt real comfortable over the past month or so, which helped me, especially down the stretch at Flight Park. But yeah, I guess the course as well was pretty open, which suits my game. Being able to throw quite far gave me a lot of easy upshots where other people would be throwing, 2 drives to get themselves to the pin. I could sort of go driver, putter, that sort of thing.
Hey, look, if I wasn't throwing it, 20 meters ahead of me into the grass, I was there with you, all right? Don't prod me like that.
Yeah. Well, that's it. But yeah, I think just the course and the fact that I'd actually been able to practice a little bit was gave me a good wee advantage.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell from just looking at the scores, excuse me, for the tournament. Obviously, a lot of Queenstown guys, local guys that play that course quite a bit, are the ones that are right there at the top. Right? It's I think if you know the angles and the shots and it's actually quite, even though you can throw far, a lot of it's actually about placement and which side of the basket you want to be approaching from, as opposed to just trying to get it down there. I think a lot of local course knowledge actually came in on the weekend.
Totally, especially a lot of the pin positions. If you're a few meters left or right, it can mean you're laying up for an easy par, or you kind of have to go for it, and that can mean the difference between a 7 or a 3, or even a higher number on a certain hole.
Yeah, totally.
Has your bag changed a lot from the Discmania days? Have you brought more stuff in? Were you exclusive Discmania bag? I think probably the last time we spoke to you. Has that changed, or have you introduced any different molds?
Yeah, totally. I don't think I have anything really Discmania in at the moment. I used to throw a lot of MVP back in the early days, and I've kind of gone back to a little bit of that.
Of course, you were Latitude sponsored at one point.
Yeah, Latitude sponsored for a few years too. So I think even pre that, I threw a lot of MVP back at least 2015, 2014. So yeah, I've been back to a lot of those discs. A few Innova discs. So I sort of heavily rely on the Destroyer for a lot of, pretty much majority of my distance shots. I've got 3 or 4 in sort of different stability. Bagged the Envy for a lot of approaches. Hex. A few weeks ago, I put a Zone back in the bag, and that was probably my clutch disc through the whole weekend, and I haven't thrown one of those in probably close to 10 years now. So it was awesome to finally have some Discraft back in the bag.
Yeah, some pretty
out to
Discraft. This day you hear a lot of people going, "Oh yeah, they're the ones that we lean on. They're the ones that we." Yeah, good stuff. So look, I'm really looking forward to seeing you. Well, one, great to have you back in New Zealand for a more kind of permanent basis, or at least not dashing off for a working holiday. And looking forward to seeing you back playing, because you were a top 10 player in New Zealand prior to you going away, and so the power rankings as yet won't reflect your return due to number of events played, but it won't be too long before they do, I'm sure. And yeah, great to see you competing at the top of MPO. We want to see more of it, and see you up against Levi, Francis, Mike.
Totally.
Yeah, it's good to be back, and I also feel like finally getting that win, however many years later, is it's kind of hard when you've had a drought for that long. It's hard to get back on the board, and I think now that I am at least back on the board with a win, it should hopefully that next one will come a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Yes, mate.
Yeah,
yes. Oh, mate, you're representing Team Generation very well, mate. Super proud of you, and big accomplishment to get it done this weekend. So well done.
Yeah, cheers, Morgs.
Very well done on the win, and thank you so much for joining us today, Ben. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, very best of luck for the rest of this season, and obviously going into Thailand. And I promise that it won't be another 160 episodes back on the show. That would be ridiculous.
Fingers crossed that's not the case, but yeah, cheers for having me back on the show.
Oh yeah, man.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Ben. Have a great night.
Cheers, guys. Good
See
night.
you, bro.
See you later. Morgan, really good competitor. Great to have him in back in New Zealand competing and winning.
Yeah.
And I want to see him. I want to see him up against all the guys who have probably not. Is overtaken the right word? In some instances, yes. The likes of Levi, Francis, Sebastian, all of those younger guys who are coming through. I really want to see him going up against.
I mean, he's like. I mean, there was obviously young people before him, but when we look back at sort of the history. More recent history of disc golf. He was the original one.
Yeah, the OG junior.
Those young junior guys that came through and started really pressing. Like I remember when I was really just starting in tournament disc golf, and we were up at I think it was McLaren Falls, and here's this just mid-teenage 14, 15-year-old kid taking on Simon Feasey to like a multi-hole playoff for the whole tournament. He was the original of these lot, I think, before any of these other young guys started coming through. So he's not old. He's still in his mid-20s, early to mid-20s, and can absolutely still hang with the best.
Absolutely. Right. Now, we're doing a giveaway tonight, but it's going to work slightly differently. We've hit the 400 subs mark, which is a fantastic achievement, at least for us. And thank you so much for everybody who's helped us to get there. And so the giveaway this week is going to work slightly differently. We're going to put a post out on our Facebook page. Is that right? And you need to answer the question that's in the Facebook page. Okay. So it's going to go out right now. So after the show or whenever, head over. You'll have all week to enter and to put your comment in, and to post the correct answer. It's not a hard question. We had the answer up on screen earlier on, so you'll have to have a yeah. So go ahead and answer that question. Then next week we'll draw the winner from all of the people who enter. Now, if you're a Patreon subscriber, obviously you'll get more entries for your if you decide to enter. So you don't need to put the answer more than once. We'll take care of that. But head over there. Different Patreon levels get a different number of entries. Now the prizes is we've got Morgan's holding up a disc there. You've got a Roxburgh Open. What is it? What disc have you got?
It is a Discmania Paradigm, 10 out of 10.
Paradigm.
Bag kept until about 20 seconds before the show started, just so I can pull it out right now, and it's going to go straight back into a bag.
Excellent. And I shall be chucking in something a bit different, some Innova disc golf playing cards. So yeah, if you don't have any playing cards, then you can get some Innova ones there. And I've also got some disc golf stickers, massive pack of 60 disc golf stickers, and they're all sorts of everything. There's so much here, you can have a lot of fun with them. So they're going to be heading their way to the winner of our giveaway, along with the Discmania Paradigm that Morgan was showing earlier on. So keep a lookout for that. We've got some answers coming in on the post already, and yet they're all correct answers that people have been putting in. So if you don't want to look it up, you can copy. So yeah, it's probably worth answering at this point about our Patreon page. If you do like what we do here, then you can support us further on our Patreon. Patreon.com/SweetChainLive. A variety of different levels. One of the levels allows you to come in and join us in the green room prior to the show. So if you want to see the goings on or have a chat to the guests that we've got on prior to the show starting, then get yourself involved with that. Right now, Morgan,
Matt,
I'm playing a tournament this weekend, right?
Yes, you are. The Taupo Thermal Throwdown.
Oh, do you know what? And I'm really looking forward to it. I was telling you, I'm
Yeah, you
giddy.
are fizzed.
I'm giddy with excitement, and I haven't played a tournament before, and I have got a PDGA membership, so I will bring up where the last time I played. The last tournament I played was in March of this year, right? Which was in
that's going back.
Dystopia Disconnection up in Henley Lake, and then prior to that was the Rapper Rumble, which was again in Henley Lake last year. And I played, and then it was the Throwdown the previous year. So with the exception of two tournaments in Masterton, the last tournament I played was the same tournament last year. Now, there's obviously reasons which.
Oh yeah.
But I'm so looking forward to this. Now, I'm in the process, or at least was earlier on, for packing up all the stuff that you got to take to a tournament, right? And a question, I know we've got the Throwdown preview up at the moment, but I wonder if we can just get this question come up. Gannon Burr made a comment this week saying that AMs only need 10 discs. They don't need that many discs. Now, oh, Morgan's going. So now I'm an AM, and so I was wondering, what do people think of this? Is this what do you only have 10 discs, Morgan? How many discs do you have?
That is exactly what I just did. My bag was right outside that door, and I was just interested to know what I had for last tournament.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 discs last weekend. 3 of those are the same putter, and 2 of them are only in there for practice.
Yeah.
And I would say, looking at that bag, there was at least 6 discs I didn't throw all tournament.
Yeah. So that checks out then, because we say 19,
yeah.
You got 3 putters, few dupes, and then 6 you didn't throw. Now I would say the same. Actually, I mean, in my cart, I've still got to do some organizing, some of it all over the place. I've played this course before. It's the taupe or black, and then the blue, and then the black that the MA40 guys are playing. But chat, how many discs are in your bag? I mean, honestly, my Zuka cart can hold a number of discs. So if you're keen on getting a Zuka cart, then I would encourage you to do so. They are brilliant. I've got maybe what's it? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then maybe probably about 6 or 7, and then a couple of putters. So I've probably got about over 20, I reckon. Now, in terms of molds, that's less because I've got at least 3. I've got 2 keystones, 2 anchors, 2 trusts, a couple of fuses. Like I've got a lot of discs where I've got 2 of each. But yeah, I find that I probably lean on. I don't know. I could about 85% of throws are with 3 discs.
Yep.
I reckon, and
Yeah.
then 95 would be with about 8, and then the others are, you throw them once because you're in a bush or you needed to do something.
I would say last weekend I threw those 2 discs off of 16 of the 18 holes tees.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't that, it was a putter.
So what is it then? Is it because do you feel, but why carry the rest of them? Is it a mindset thing of going, I need to make sure I've got the disc to cover any potential shot I might have?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Do you know what's real funny though? Is like you can go out on your local course with, say, my Mako 3. I mean, if I took a putter with me, I might shave another couple of strokes. But if I just take my Mako 3, I'm pretty confident I shoot 8 down every single round. Whereas if I take my whole bag, can't guarantee 8 down.
I know what you mean. This week, really the only disc golf I've been able to play recently has been when like me and my wife have gone to the course with baby, and so one of us is pushing the stroller, and the other one's carrying a bag. Obviously, whoever's carrying the bag doesn't want to carry a big bag or anything like that. So we've been putting both of our discs into one bag, which obviously means I can't take the 22 or whatever that I would normally take. So I normally will bring a couple of putters. I'll have a trust. I've got a sapphire. I've recently been playing around with an old Shrike that I threw years ago.
Ooh, yes.
That I might actually take this weekend, and then and a Savior, and maybe a River, and that's about it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I get what Gannon's on about. But
what's really funny about Gannon's message there was not his message, it's the one below, I think.
Chris Clemens. Yeah.
Yeah. Terrible marketing. Yeah, terrible marketing. You guys should buy all my discs.
Yeah, he's absolutely right, of course. So let's have a look at the Topor Thermal Throwdown preview. Now, the cards are up, so you'll see the starting holes if you're playing this weekend, and you're aware of
highest rated player, Johnny Wake.
Johnny Wake is and look, it's going to be difficult to look past him, honestly. So he's because he plays this course a lot, and also like did a lot of the tree work that helped to kind of put this course back together again just over a year.
Johnny's in that same category that I seem to bring up every week, that until someone beats him, I'm going to choose him.
That's right. Young Ha is playing in MA1 due to not being able to play in MA40, as he's previously taken cash and his rating is too high.
Rod G.
MA40 is okay for professionals if you're under 925, I think. But because he's a professional, he can play MA1.
Now. Yeah, okay. So is that the number that they have under the US PDGA rules?
No,
like
that's
is that international?
That's the international one. I think it's the same. I don't know if it's
because MA1 is like 9, and I know I've said it before and I've butchered it, but it is up there with like 960 to 970, right?
Yeah, it is. And it's some ludicrous high. Like there's only about a dozen players in New Zealand who wouldn't qualify for it.
Johnny Wake 977.
Yeah, but he's an amateur, so
true.
So he can play as long as you like. So I think I'm looking at Johnny Wake as taking this one out. Outside of that, I think it's fairly even, honestly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Callum Petman do well. He often puts in hot scores.
I was about to say I'd like to see a Finn Rumours maybe sneak up there too.
Absolutely. He's been playing well recently. And so there's lots of guys in that MA1 division who are capable of doing a job. Down into FA1, Michaela Kerr will want to avenge the performance of the most recent event. I don't think
she came second to Amy, was it? Amy was an FA40.
Yes, that's right. At the was it the cup to your knees up?
Yeah.
And I'm expecting Michaela to take out this one.
Yep.
I over Hannah Edmonds and then Katie Hoffman, I suspect. And then MA40, the best division. This is going to be incredibly tight. Okay, because I reckon.
Look at the state of it. 21 of you buggers. 21 of yous.
Oh, I cannot wait. It's going to be fantastic. Look, so I'm expecting the top two ratings wise there, Steve Lawson and Hayden Shaw, to battle it out over the course of the weekend. I expect that they'll be there or thereabouts. It was Hayden performed very well last year. I think that he may even have won it last year from memory.
I think you're right. I actually do recall that. Yeah, I recall that.
He won MA40 last year.
That was when he was on his streak, though, wasn't it?
That was. I was actually on the same card as him. I somehow managed to find myself on lead card last year, and I was kind of going, there's no way that I can catch this guy because like so many shots ahead. What did he have? He had 6 shots on me at the beginning of the day.
Yeah,
he'd shot 3 under and 3 under in both of his rounds, and then goes on to shoot +9 in the 3rd round. Right, so I'm there going, he's thrown it away, and I just didn't take it. This is ludicrous. But neither did anyone else, and so yeah, ended up winding up and finishing 3rd in that one. But yeah, Hayden managed to hang on for the victory. The weather this year, I think, will play a slightly bigger part in proceedings than it did last year. Last year was fairly calm. There may have been a little bit of wind about, but it certainly didn't rain.
Where are you placing yourself on this list after the weekend?
Pretty much where my rating is. So that kind of middle, I don't know. So out of 21 players, if I finished in the middle 7, then I guess I would be. If I finished in the bottom 7, I'd be thinking, I probably should have played better. If I finished in the top 7, I'm probably thinking, do you know what? I've done all right there. And so middle 7 is.
Can I set you a goal, a sweet chain goal?
Well, you can have a go, but I'm very, very rusty.
Top 6.
Top 6. Oh my.
Well, that's an achievable goal. Hey, Ben Wiel-Lake took an extended hiatus in Japan where they had snow to the ocean, and then he's come back and won a tournament. Yeah, and so were a bunch of the people he just had to compete with. There's no excuses here on Sweet Chain. I expect you in the top 6. No, I think you can do it, and I'd love to see you up there. So good luck this week.
So here's how I think it's going to play out in this division, right? And I'll leave myself out of this analysis.
Okay.
Steve Lawson and Hayden Shaw are going to go toe to toe for the win, right?
Okay.
Dan Smith down 872. He's going to have a scorching hot first round and maybe second round. He does this a lot, right? He has a absolutely fantastic. Comes out the gates with a first round, brilliant round, and then unfortunately for him, sometimes tails off. Leon Krellin will play better than his rating, and Phil McLeod will also play better than his rating. So I'm expecting Steve Lawson, Hayden Shaw, and Leon Krellin to be around the top guys there. I think Chris Kingsnorth will also be doing a job. Yes. And if you want an outside tip for lead card, Owen Mandis is perhaps a shout there. So, yeah,
I don't know if that's an outside. I don't know if that's an outside tip. He is the 4th highest rated player in that division. That's
okay. Fair enough. I played with Owen last year. I was very lucky enough to play with Owen. Fantastic.
I'm calling you for 6th. I'm calling you for 6th. I think I agree with what you're saying. I think Phil McLeod is a lot better than what his rating suggests. I think Phil's going to be in that 5 slot. And then I think there's going to be 2 of those 4 guys in the top 2. And then we're going to see 2 other people come out of the shadows.
Yeah, I mean, but look, honestly, anyone anyone can really take this, I think, out. So I think the top two, Steve and Hayden, will be going, and I think there'll be a gap. And then in third place, I think it's anyone's to take out, honestly. So
do you guys, there's something, and it's not something I noticed at the weekend, but something again I seen at the weekend. The 40s, the MA 40s, there's a lot of this. It might not be like, I mean, they do chat during the rounds at each other, but like before and after the round, there's a lot of at each other. There's a lot of like biting at the ankles, in the MA 40s.
Oh, look.
Do you guys have that up there too? Is there going to be a wee bit of chirping?
I can imagine there will be, because if it's anything like when I do manage to get out for casual rounds at Berhampore or whatever, you're just always, you've got to, it's not anything deliberate. You're not kind of going, right, what's my game plan to try and put this guy off? It's just you just make a comment, and you're looking to get a rise out of the rest of the group, honestly. Are you guys just trying to get things off your chest at each other that you can't say at home? Like something you can't chirp back at your kids? Is this something? I'm just realizing this as the show is live right now. Things you can't say at home, but you can say on the golf course to your friends. Sorry, my kids aren't watching, but no, it's fantastic for being able to kind of, you can have a little chirp, and you're not, because everyone does it, right? I honestly, I think it's part and parcel of that mental game that we talk about, and it's essential that your mental toughness can put up with someone essentially just sort of jabbing you in the ribs for the whole day, and I think that's an essential part of competing in MA4. And really, you need that. That's something which you learn pretty quick. I mean, what we often find is that people who best dish it out are also actually pretty good at taking it.
Totally.
So yeah, it's something which I really enjoy. There's obviously a few players which I know, if I'm on the same card as them, then we're gonna have some chat going round that's perhaps a little bit more. If Simon Fogarty was playing, we'd be going back and forth the whole. But
I love it. I love that side of things. But now I'm going to throw it back at you here on a completely different angle.
Go
on. Maybe not even just pro divisions, but like league card situations when someone's not doing well and they lose their shit. Excuse the language, but it's the best way to put it. In the middle of the round, it's pretty hard to call like a courtesy violation, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Really hard.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm not talking about those instances.
No, neither am I. I'm changing the chat. I'm turning it around. I completely agree with you. I love a chirp, man. Everyone we play with is usually such good mates with us, especially if you're in a local tournament. You can chirp all day long. It's not courtesy. It's just they're your mates. It is what it is, and there's a line, and everyone knows the line. But when you're in a tournament and you might not know the person, or you might not know them to that level, or they're not even part of the chirp gang, and they're losing their shit. It's an interesting one, right? There's a definite line there, and it's such a hard one to maybe navigate.
Look, I totally get it, right? And I can see a situation where someone might chirp up to someone who's perhaps not used to it, or is perhaps just having a bad day. They might have just got out of bed on the wrong side, right? Yeah. And so what you've and I can totally see someone kind of exploding. That tends not to happen so much in MA40 and almost certainly in higher age protected divisions, because people, by the time you get to that age, you've normally got a pretty good grasp of your emotions, right? You're normally in a pretty good space in terms of being able to control them. Normally, broadly speaking, and so it doesn't tend to have so much of an impact. Just in the same way that you wouldn't expect it to. It's more. Perhaps you see more people get worked up in the MPO MA1 divisions. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that because of the age, or is it because there's perhaps they're seen as being more competitive, so there's more on the line?
Or
I'm using inverted commas.
expectation out of themselves, I suppose, is usually
Perhaps.
where that comes from.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's fair.
Yeah, totally. No, it's like I've seen both. I've seen both sides. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really get distracted by too much. I've been in the game long enough where, someone can walk through my putt and it's probably not going to bother me too much unless I'm already out of my own headspace. If I'm not out of my own headspace, I play round after round after round in the Queenstown Gardens. There's cards of 20 drunk people walking around. It is what it is. You're used to it. But it's if you're not in your right headspace, someone being a little negative can change your whole outlook on a hole, I suppose. And the whole game is one hole at a time, so it can turn you around pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, I've never had anybody really kind of collapse emotionally, I should say, during a tournament where you then get that awkward vibe, and certainly never had a situation where I felt it, where I felt I'd be doing a disservice to the spirit of the game if I didn't call a courtesy violation. I mean, word it that way. I don't think I've ever come across that.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I touch wood that.
I've seen it more than enough times to think maybe on other cards we'll say where it probably should have been called, but it's never going to get called. Do you know?
Yeah. Oh no, hard. Yeah. And I think this has been covered before.
Oh, totally. Totally is.
You don't want to be,
totally.
You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the guy who causes the awkward vibe, even though you're not the guy who caused the awkward vibe, if you know what I mean. So,
yeah.
What's also interesting, actually, just before, and we will move on from MA40, because Arne makes a good point that each division gets about 30 seconds normally, and we've been talking about MA40 for about 10 minutes. But last point, Steve and Hayden are starting on the same hole on round 1, right? And it's also worth noting that there are 3 rounds. The first 2 rounds are random seeding. So I'm presuming that you stick with the same hole, same group for the first and second round. The seeding doesn't begin until the 3rd round.
Yeah.
On the Sunday morning. The other thing that's worthy of note here is that MA1 play the black course for all 3 rounds. MA40 play the black course, the blue course, and then the black course. Now, the differences couldn't be any different, right? So I was working this out, that around 920 in the 920 rated on the black course, okay, is about, and I calculated this roughly the other day. I'll just find it. So 920 rated on the black course is about a +2.
Okay.
And then a 920 on the blue course, I'm just being told that we'll try and seed round 2. I recommend that does happen. And then, but 920 on the blue course, is 10 under.
Wow.
Right, and you play that round once, you play that course once, and then it's back to the black course. So what I suspect is going to happen, and what I'll be trying to do, so here's my little game plan mode here, is I'm going to be trying to play super defensive when I'm playing the black course, because I know that no one in MA40 is going to go and shoot 6, 7, 8 down on the black course. It's just not going to happen, not in MA40, right? Because you'd be talking about 1,000 rated rounds. People in MA40 don't do that, right? So I don't think that will happen. I think the hot score in MA40 might be on the thing around this 2 or 3 down mark, right?
Matt, I'm saying this close to the microphone. I'm gonna need you to do whatever you need to do to get 6th place, please.
And then when it comes to the blue course, that's the birdie or die, right? You got, and I can see some people coming out and hitting 13, 14 down on that course. So the goal, at least for me, will be back against the wall for the first round, see where I am. If I've not have too much stuff leak through, then I can really kind of go for it on the second round. And I mean, I'm not a birdie or die kind of player. I much prefer the play for par defensive route. Doesn't give me many trophies, but there we are. And then in the third round, you just play with what you've got and see where the chips lie, so to speak. But yeah, anyway, right. Should we move on from MA40 because
probably not, because I'm loving the chat based on this. I just read the chat. Arn Burge, this high quality content, 30 to 45 seconds on every other division, 8 minutes on MA40, the way it should be. And then Bray Marsden, Arn Burgess, make that 20 minutes.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on. MA40, the best division. I know everybody outside of Topor is going to be following it on PDJ Live, so you make sure that you bookmark this particular page. 21 player deep. It's going to be a humdinger. Anyway,
one comment I will go to is we'll say what's up to Ollie Simonson from Ocean Discs.
Hey, good evening,
he was
Ollie.
our guest last week. He is in the chat. Ollie, you've asked to bring our guest on. Unfortunately, last Saturday going into Sunday, or Sunday morning, 2 a.m., we hit daylight savings. So you're actually an hour behind. Mr. Ben Wiel-Lake has already been on tonight. I'm sorry.
That's it. If you do want to
go back and watch.
If you do want to catch the Ocean Discs episode, it's on YouTube. Fantastic chat with Ollie about the sea turf. Anyway, back at the ranch. In FA40, FA40 is another very, very closely fought division, I suspect. Amy Whitmore is perhaps the favourite going in. She's going to be pushed by Kath Headley. And so, yeah, I would expect to see those two relatively near the top. The FA40 ladies are playing blue, black. I think is the order for them. So they've got 2 rounds where they can kind of attack and really kind of go for it, and then a third round where you kind of want to be there or thereabouts, because it's going to be easy to leak shots on the black course, but not very easy to catch them up if you need to be the one who initiates any kind of movement. Then into MA2, big division here as well. Lots of players, lots of local Toporians. Yes, let's go with that. And then a smattering of other South North Islanders. Pretty competitive division. There's lots of names here that we recognise as
Ezra Morrison.
Probably going to do quite well. Ezra's got the capability of walking away.
Yes, he does.
Division, right? If he doesn't get inside his own head, he's got the capability to.
That's the name that's poking out at me. For whichever reason, that's the one.
Yeah. Down into MA3, it gets harder to call as you go down. But the MA3, another pretty tough division to call. It's going to be very, very strong here. Luke Kennedy from Wanganui, his 877 rating is based on only a few rounds, so we'll see how that holds up against the Snowball Brothers. I'm going to go for, we'll see how that pans out. Big FA3 division, 8 players in this one. Lots of new players, but we're probably looking at Lucinda Rawlings and Libby Darrick to go head-to-head and see who's going to battle it out. And it'll be a battle of the McLeod brothers in MJ15 as well, as Kieran takes on Braden. So Kieran's got about 4 years, I think, on Braden. So Kieran's about 40.
How many strokes does that equate to, do you think?
What, 92 rating points?
The age.
Or the age? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, he's obviously bigger and taller. Yeah. And
what's the stroke differential in age?
But what I would say is, I think Braden, when he gets to Kieran's age, that's if you looked at it, that kind of comparison, then they're probably a lot closer.
Okay. All right.
And then Caitlin McLeod will be doing battle with Heidi Robson-Wiley in FJ15. So, look, this tournament's great, and I'll tell you why. There's 99 players, right? So cards are 5 on 20 holes. It's a completely AM tournament. So trophies for the winners. We get a players pack, and they did a barbecue at lunchtime last time. It's really great to see these amateur events happening. I think they're fantastic. And last year, the Topol guy, we know Topol guys. They've got a great property on which to run a tournament, and they put a great tournament on. It's one of those. This sold out in minutes. You really had to be fastest finger first if you wanted to be if you wanted to get into this one. It was one of those that
Before Matt Discdle, can we just remind everyone that right above your head right now is the Disc Golf Valley Room ID.
There is
BAF 3. BAF 3.
I think quite a few players. Well, let's have a look. Quite a few people have had a go. We'll come to those results in a second. But let's do Discdle first. I've not done this today, so let's get that up on the screen. And right,
I started last week, so you must be starting us off this week.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with the disc that I will probably throw the most, if not very close to the most. I'm going to go for the Latitude 64 Trust.
All right.
Add in.
What are we working with here? Trust, first time, job done.
Yeah, indeed. Right, so we've got the fade right. It's a 2 fade, but the manufacturer is wrong. The speed is quite a lot lower than it needs to be, and the glide is interestingly higher as well. So glide of 5, it's got a higher glide than 5, right? Probably a glide 6 or 7, and the speed is higher than 8. So we need a speed 9. Is it 4 higher or 3 higher?
3. It's more than 3. So
more than 3. So it's 9 or higher.
Hey, Tommy Baker, lock me in with a Shrike, baby. Let's just go Shrike. Right off the bat.
Yeah, okay. -2. Yeah, that works. Have a look.
I actually have 2 Shrikes in my bag. Have you seen my disc? All right.
Okay. So it is a -2. And it's faster than a Shrike, so it's a speed 14. So is it one of those MVP ones that's like so MVP do a bunch of speed 14.
So we're looking at a 14.5 -2.2.
14 5. Who does 5.5 glides? I know who does. MVP do like.
Oh yeah, up 5, down. Sorry, first one.
-2.2. Oh, my knowledge of MVP distance drivers.
Can I throw out one that I'm not 100% sure, but can I try?
Go on then.
Octane.
Yeah, go on.
Adam throws octanes, has done for years. He's told me his whole bag 3,700 times, and I only remember Octane and Envy.
No, I think Octane is a high-speed driver from...
it definitely is. It definitely is high speed. He's got me to throw it a few times. What is it?
So
it's 13.
So it's Axiom because it's not MVP, right? So it's an Axiom disc because of the yellow cross. It's a speed 14, glide 5.5, -2.2 by Axiom. Oh.
I feel like the only Axiom disc I can think of, and I have no idea what it is like a Neuron.
Yeah, I don't think that's fast.
Neuron, Proton, Photon?
Photon, I think, is an MVP disc and is slower. Kevin Carpenter's going Revelation. Is that a new one?
Couldn't tell you.
Because if we reveal the hint, it's just going to come back as
Robbie Gill, 13, 5.5.
Yeah, that looks like it's the right numbers, but we need to be it's an Axiom by the looks of it. So
see. Yeah, no, I'm pretty much out of the game here with Axiom, unfortunately. I don't even own one.
Yeah, I'm a little bit out.
I'd say, can we reveal the hint, but it's going to go 5.5 or Axiom. Bugger it. Reveal the hint, please, Tom, because what if we're wrong and it's not Axiom? God damn it. No, chat, we got revelation?
No, and well, Revelation sounds like an Axiom name more than an MVP name. It's not coming up as a thing, so yeah, we shall have to see.
I mean, if the chat's not going to help us out, I'm literally going to have to Google right here because I've got nothing. Oh, god damn, is it the time lapse?
No, because that's... Oh, is it?
Time lapse is Axiom.
Chuck it in.
I can't see the numbers on it. It's just the firstest that's popped up, and it makes sense. Oh, goodness me. 12 speed.
Relativity, Kevin's given us.
Oh, Adam's got those too.
Come on, Morgan.
Come on, listen, Morgan. Use your ears. Yeah, do that. Relativity.
Getting relativity, and then we've got a tantrum from Marie Cummings. If it doesn't come back, what are we looking at? Relativity. Oh, look at this. So the glide is so. The speed is a 12. Is that no?
Yeah, we need a
40.
12. We got a 12 speed here.
So the last the only guess we've not gone with that's in the chat is tantrum.
Just quickly. I'm on the Axiom Disc website right now.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong line. Okay. Yeah, no, go tantrum. I was looking at the wrong line on the screen. It's a wee bit small. There's it's not tantrum.
Okay.
It's not tantrum. What's the glide? 5.5, and then it's a -2. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna get this out of here. It's an Excite. EXCITE.
There we go.
Sorry, team. I don't like to do that, but we are not Axiom people.
Put a W in the chat if you've ever thrown an Axiom Excite. I certainly haven't. I can probably guess what it's but
yeah,
I wouldn't be able to throw 2.5.
I need to find out if Adam owns one of those. Do you have an Axiom Excite? Oh my goodness! Right, that's Discdle for the week, ladies and gentlemen. We got there. We didn't cheat at all.
Just before we move on to Disc Golf Valley, there is the Disc Golf South Shorts in Spring going on.
There is,
week, which is a one-dayer down in Invercargill. 74 players, Morgan.
Yeah.
And there's some heavy hitters playing in this one, right? So you've got Francis Orange, Ethan Stout, Sergey Sanin, Tom McKay, Hayden Edgley, Johnny Ferrari, all competing this weekend in MPO. And then further down, you've got a pretty stacked MA40 division, and it keeps going all the way down. So we'll be bringing you results of the shorts in spring next week.
Yeah.
When we see those come in.
There's a Chris Dixon in that list too, who was only 2 shots off the overall win last weekend. Even though he's 10 spots down those ratings wise, he was right. He's right up there.
That's it. Right. Let's have a look at Disc Golf Valley. How did you do this week, Morgan?
5 down, something like that.
5 down.
5 down.
Pretty good. On with a 3 down. That's a good score. Kelvin 7 down.
Wait, didn't Arn have a 6 down before? He had me by one. He's doing it twice. Cheating bugger.
So Sweet Chain Live is Tom. Producer Tom. Sweet Chain Music with the Union flag is me. 5+2. Low gets 6 down. Very good. Very good. So very well done to Kelvin with the 7. So yeah.
There we go. Matt, I just want to rewind just a second talking about Chris Dixon. Right before I come on the show, I seen the chat going, not berserk, but the chat going off for the Struggle Street Massive. Struggle Street's right at the end of its tether, and these guys are playing in any conditions, whatever is happening. It's raining out there right now.
Yeah.
Jolly's out there in fishing overalls because they're about to start building on that land.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Struggle Street, been around, took us all the way through COVID and before COVID. Oh, it was really a COVID baby. It's coming to an end. Just
Struggle Street.
big respect to Struggle Street.
Yeah.
New Zealand's first PDGA league.
I played in that.
You did? You
I
did?
was down visiting. It was a lot of fun.
Hey, mate, there's nothing better than grassroots sports, really. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, you had 18
That is,
on a postage stamp, so it was you did very well.
yeah. Respect.
Right, let's have a look at the upcoming events. The Throwdown is this weekend, along with the Shorts in spring. Then the South Island Masters Games and Owaka. We put the link in the description.
Yeah, guys, jump on into that one, please. We want to see this go ahead. The course looks absolutely incredible. Adam and Tyler have been putting in so much work to get this thing together. So let's support them. Jump on board. I'm, for one, looking forward to heading down there and just being a player.
Yeah. You got the Extreme, which is the end of this month, which is just getting more and more companies on board to sponsor it. MVP got announced. Discmania's involved.
Wow.
It's just, yeah. If you
Incredible.
then that's going to be a really, really good tournament. Hayden from Discdle's running it, so you know it's going to be a goodie. Then Tapu the weekend after, and then South Island Champs down in Moonbase is the in early November, and then the doubleheader of Fault Line Fury and Auckland Disc Golf Champs mid-November. Tamuka Tussle, Day at the Lake, Rising Stars Open. Rapper Rumble, and then we're into the Tour Down Under, Egg Monster and Topor Classic. Both of those events are now open to register, and I think they're on Tier 2 has certainly begun, if not.
Yeah, Tier 2 open today, right? I feel like I seen Steve's post today.
Yeah, Tier 2 open today. And so we'll be reaching out to some of the Tour Down Under guys to see if we can get some sneak peeks into who might be coming across the pond.
Heck yeah.
For those events kicking off in Inglewood in Taranaki in early Jan. After the Classic is a mystery event on the Tour Down Under, although I think it might be in Auckland on the end of January, and then Nationals down in Christchurch from the 6th to the 9th of February. Very much looking forward to this, Morgan. That 2nd of October is not right for the registration date. The Nationals registration doesn't open for a few weeks. It did get pushed out. I'm just looking it up now. Oh no, sorry. Registration is open, but Tier 1 is open. Tier 1 open.
What's Tier 1?
So Tier 1 is basically 920 if you're in the mixed division and 820 for the ladies division.
Oh my God! Can I have a ratings bump already, please, so I can sign up?
So if you want to play a mixed division, then it's 920. Ladies division is 820, and then that drops to 875 mixed for next week, and 750 for ladies from next week, and then all juniors open then as well.
I'm 919 rated. I'm one ratings point away from being able to spend some money.
There's a few people registered already, so make sure that you get on that if you're looking to go to Christchurch. I'm certainly hoping to come down for that. At the very least to watch if the registrations run out before I get a chance to. And then you've got Roxburgh, Southern Smash, Paradise Place, Dixtopia, Seafarer, and Lords and Ladies. Yep. There is another event I've just seen. The Tipohoy Breeze has been announced for the first weekend in March.
Roxburgh Open registration is open now. We've gone past the 1st of October, and also the Queenstown Classic is. That's not on there, right? It is right before Paradise or right after?
It's after Dystopia, weekend after Paradise. So in between this Paradise and Seafarer.
Yeah, 22nd of March.
Get that added on for next week.
Yeah. The 30th annual. We'll put that out there. The 30th annual Queenstown Classic.
that's a milestone. So yeah,
Absolutely.
and then finally, let's have a look at the power rankings. So Alison Tweedy moves up one spot,
Wow.
second, over Hayley Flintoft, thanks to her second place finish in MA2. Sue Brown climbs one space up ahead of Echo Lee. Jack Maffey drops 4 places to 15th, and Sergei Sanin drops 5 places from 17th. Yeah.
Did I come anywhere up the list this week, Matt? I feel like I had a raise last time. I feel like I should get a raise.
One moment. It won't be too long, actually.
Yeah.
This won't be too long before the new Sweet Chain Live website goes live, and you'll be able to view power rankings any time you like, and you'll be able to see them going all the way down to wherever. Morgan, you jumped 7 spots to 48.
Hey, there we go.
So yeah. The final thing to say is that we've got Secret Santa starts in 2 weeks' time. So in a fortnight's time, we're going to give you all the details you need for Secret Santa. So make sure that you tune in then. Other than that, lots of people playing in Invercargill. There's people playing in Topor this weekend. So I shall see everybody in Topor when I see you there. So if you're watching and you're playing, then please come and say hi. And yeah, I'm going to go and get some sleep because I need to leave the house in 7.5 hours' time. So yeah, pack my stuff and sort some stuff out in between then. So yeah, but very best of luck to everybody competing in Topor and wherever you're playing disc golf. Take it easy, play well, get some birdies, and we'll see you.